Welcome to Bird Fans Forever podcast, episode 7. Today in our podcast, we're going to be talking to Ronnie Carlwell, who played from 2003 to 2008. I believe I got that right, but we'll double check. So, Big Ronnie is our guest. Before we have Big Ronnie on, I'd love for everybody to, if you get a chance, to follow us on Twitter, Bird Fans Forever, right? And it's a reoccurring theme. We made it really simple. Also, if you get a chance to watch us on YouTube, love the ring the bell, hit the thumbs up, or smash the subscribe button. We'd love that. And of course, if you're looking for us on audio podcast, you can go out to our website, www.birdfansforever, and then at the bottom of any one of the pages, you'll see the list of all the different podcast listeners that you can pull it into and listen to. Perfect. So with that, we're going to cut. Okay, we're back. And this is Bird Fans Forever podcast, and we are here with big man Ronnie Carlwell. Hopefully I got that right, big man. We practiced, but sometimes not enough practice for John. So Ronnie, we're going to hit it off, man. So we were just talking off there, and we want to talk about your freshman year. So you ready?
Yes, sir.
Hit it.
All right. Well, my freshman year was pretty, normal. Like any freshman, you come in, you meet your teammates, you're practicing, you're rolling. I wasn't a starter, which I knew I wasn't going to be, but I was okay with that. But I think I started having knee problems like right after my first practice or so, and it was kind of just like I thought it was just regular tendonitis going on, and it just kept happening over a course of a while. And one day the doctor came in and saw me, and they said they wanted to get a scan, and I wasn't really good on going to the doctor, so I was like, okay. And I got the scan, and I was like, okay, I'm cool. And we kept, I would play sparingly here and there. And we go to play Illinois, right after New Year's, and Coach Porter Moser at the time pulled him to the side and says, hey, we're going to redshirt you. And he was like, yeah, we're concerned about your knee, so we're going to redshirt you. And I was like, man, I want to play against Illinois. This is on TV. This is ESPN. Like, I don't got everybody watching at home. They like, yo, you playing D Brown tomorrow. It's just a game. And right before we get to the game, John Munn comes and tells me, he was like, hey, you got a stress fracture in your knee. And I said, what's that? I've heard of a fracture. I'm like, what's a stress fracture? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what's a stress fracture? Never heard of it. Like, this me just honest, like, never heard of stress fracture. He was like, it's a small crack right up in your knee, on the kneecap, and it just like fluid gets in there, and he's like, this is why your knee keeps swelling. So I'm like, okay. He was like, so this is why you're gonna medical red shirt, not a regular red shirt. And I'm like, medical? He's like, yeah, this is where you sit out the whole year. You played those games, but now it doesn't count. It just wipes your slate clean. You're gonna sit out and just practice with the team, and just gonna get healthy again. So I was like, on one hand, I'm like, okay, cool. The other hand, I'm like, man, I want to play. I ain't trying to sit out. That ain't for me. But
and Ronnie, I told you the same thing, right? I got pneumonia as a sophomore and took a medical red shirt. So it is it's heartbreaking news to hear, right? So I've been in your shoes. So what else you want to talk about your freshman year? Anything else?
Oh, it was just it was a hard adjustment. Being away, like I said, I've never been away from my family that long. Living on my own, having to make decisions for myself, it was a change. Slacked off a little bit in class. Made some bad decisions about school, and it was a learning experience for the most part that I valued. A lot of life changing experience, a lot of growing that I value to this day though, because it allowed me to see what it was like to live on my own and actually become a man without guidance. Like, your parents raised you to a point that, hey, now you're on your own. You have to make the right decisions. They still would jump me, get my butt if I got that one call one day from my mom, like, what's this? I hear you skip class. I'm like, what you talking about? How do you know I didn't go to class? Wait. And then my dad called right after that. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Only to find out Coach Baroni called. He was like, "Yeah, I called your parents and told." I said, "You snitched on me?" He says, "Yeah, I did. What you thought?" I was like, "Wow." So it was like, I'm like, man, I'm still getting in trouble. I'm way away from school, and that's all I got that call say, "I'll drive down there. It's only 2 hours." I'm like, "No, that's okay. I'm gonna get together. I don't need no unexpected parents showing up." But I learned, you met a lot of people that year. You interacted with people that you never thought you would talk to. It's like meeting people from different places, like just people from like out of state that you don't normally see. Like, hey, something new, something different. So the teammates you meet, like Trey Guidry, he was just how do you call Trey? You call Trey a fun guy.
Yeah.
Because his demeanor, you met Trey Guidry, he was just free spirit, wild, but his work ethic was off the chain. Like, outside the lines, he was as free as they'd come. Between those lines, I never met somebody who worked as hard as he did. Like, he was on it. Between him and Vince Green, it was like, go, 24/7, hard, work. And so, you had to compete with those guys to, like, make sure you was up to the task to compete when they were ready to play. So I think that's what my freshman year mostly consisted of, trying to keep up with the older guys and trying to, like, hey, I was brought here for a reason. So even though I'm sitting out, I still got to bring it every day.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. All right. Next one you want to talk about was the Creighton New Year's game.
Oh, that game. In my eyes, I've seen and heard a lot of Redbird classics, but I think that might be top 3 Redbird games ever. I don't know where other people might rank it, but I would have to rank it top 3. New Year's Eve, 20 seconds left, tie ball game. Creighton ranked number 22, 23 in the country at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We get the stop, we get the bucket, they get a free throw, and it's like I was on defense, and it's like everything just kind of went in slow motion. Me and Greg Dilligard like trap somebody. They throw it out of the trap. I rotate. I get like a semi-block. They didn't give me a block, but I felt like I blocked it. I got the ball. Dana runs over to me. He's like, time out. He's like, hold it, time out. And we just like celebrating. And before I say the next part, I want people to know we practice half-court shots all the time before practice. Like Porter would come in and was like, hit a half-court shot, no practice. So we going there. We was going for it all the time. Like at least once a month we would do the half-court shot, no practice. So everybody, one day, I think who hit? Somebody hit one day. I want to say Greg Alexander hit one day. We thought we was like home free. He was like, yeah. We was like, yeah, we gone. He was like, oh, I said 2 of y'all got to hit. We was like, oh, no. You said 1. But, he like, no. But this day, it was like he drew it up perfect. He was like, okay, you're going to pin down curl. Dana come off the curl and just take the shot. I mean, we sat on that bench, and I think time stopped. I don't know what it was, but it's like everything was just in slow motion for like the next, it felt like 20 minutes, but it was like 5 seconds. Just inbound, catch, dribble, shoot, half-court 3. We partying. Middle of the floor, we sent Creighton home, and the rest was just a history. Like we make sports, like all we hollering is we on Sports Center, we on Sports Center. That's how I remember him hitting that shot. Dana hit the shot, and all I heard him yell was "Happy New Year, Mother." I ain't gonna finish the ring, but he turned to him and said, "Happy New Year, we on Sports Center."
I was at that game. It was New Year's Eve, and we took our kids down, drove down, and we were going to stay at Jumers and stuff like that. And we weren't expected to win, right? So, you're just there, and then the game's keeping close. It wasn't a high-scoring game. It was a low-scoring game. And then when that shot went in, it was just like, holy cow. Just like you said, it just erupts, It was wonderful. It was just awesome. Yeah.
They were that. We were like, I remember hearing that they was like, we were favored to lose by like 15. It was like, yeah, y'all been down, favored to lose by 15. Like, they had just blown out, I want to say, they just blown out Southern. Like 2 days before, they just blown out Southern. It was like, they were rolling. Like, they were hot.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
So, Ronnie, I got to talk to you about, my kids went to Downers Grove South. Okay. And you played for Proviso East, West Suburban Gold Conference, right? Big rival
yes, sir.
in basketball. So I remember when you guys would come over, okay, and you had a couple teammates that played in the NBA. And then for Downers South, we had the Mullins brothers, okay. But you would be out there, and you were just like this man, this big, tall man against boys. But there was just some super heated battles. So how was it playing in high school on such on a great team? You guys went down state the one year, and the next year Downers South did. So it was some great rivals, but you just played on a great Proviso East team.
Well, the one year we made it to the Supers. We didn't make it to state that year. We lost to New Trier by 5. We should have made it.
Okay.
And that was the year down. I think that's the year Downers went. The year before, we lost to St. Joe's when they had Brandon. I think his name, he went to Penn State.
Okay.
But we had. Well, I would say when I played in high school those years, I think I would call it the last good years of high school basketball. But that's when you actually had the battles of high school before they created the extra classes, and you actually had people had to see each other. Like, you had to play the real competition to like get there. But the Downers South game was like twice a year, home and home. You had to battle. They had to come to us. We had to battle it out. But I think it was harder playing at their gym because, again, it's harder. It's their rim. It's like you're at home. You get the shooters touching your rim.
Right.
They're at home. They get the shooters touching their rim. So that game was always an instant classic. And the last time I remember when D. Brown was there, we ended up going to double overtime. And we started the game. It was like the gym was half full. So it's like, we're battling it out. It go to overtime. And it's like, I look up and it's like, yo, this one getting full. And then we go to double overtime. And I look up and it's like standing room only. And I'm like, where did all these people come from? It's like, now you don't even hear nothing. It's like just noise echoing off the wall. But it's like back and forth. And it was just a great game to be played because it was like a battle. Like, you knew what you were getting into. 94 feet of point guards picking each other up between, Shannon D and between our 3 guards and their 2 guards. It was like a never-ending battle.
Yeah.
So it was like a great time to be had in high school sports.
For sure. There was great battles there.
Yeah. And I think what made it even better was like when you had those type of games and you knew who was playing who, you had other people show up to the game. Like, you have like one year we played. Did you remember did you know Candace was there and James Augustine was there?
Okay, yeah. So
they showed up to the game that year.
So tell when you say Shannon, who are you talking about? I don't know if everyone knows. Shannon Brown
and D. Brown, yeah.
And D. Brown, 2 NBA players, 3 Division I players on that team with yourself, right? Did anybody else go? 4?
Charles Richardson.
Team was stacked. Stacked. Then down in South, you had Brian Mullins, right?
Went to SIU. Brandon Mullins.
Brandon played college basketball.
Yeah,
D2 or D3, right?
He went to Brown, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He went to the Ivy League.
Yeah. So some great games.
Yeah.
Some great games, yeah. So tell us about the trip to New York.
So the trip to New York was my senior year, my last year of college. We went to go play St. John's. And what made that trip special was, Porter was big on showing culture and providing context and, making sure you knew life and lessons and history, outside of basketball. He was big on, teaching us stuff about outside of basketball, which was one thing that stood out to me the most. And this trip was different because we went to dinner, we went to practice and we went to dinner and everything, and he drives us to this empty lot, and we like, what are we doing here? And he was like, do you know where you're at? And we like, no. He was like, we're finna y'all are finna see history right now. And he was like, what? He was like, we at ground zero right now. He was like, I want you to get off this bus and I just want you to take in one of the most horrific but also breathtaking moments in American history that ever took place in our time. And he just said, just take to yourself or whatever you want to do and just, do whatever you need to do. And we got off the bus at ground zero and we just walked around because they were still building the memorial. They had already built the waterfall with the names around it, but they were still doing construction. They were still taking up the ground, so parts of it you couldn't see. And I was like, yo, this has been like this since 2001. I was in high school when this happened, and this is 2006, and they're still removing the rubble. And it was just a moment to reflect on something that you remember seeing happening and taking place, and actually being there was like a reality check to, how people complain about things and say, oh, woe is me, I'm kind of mad about not playing right now. And then basketball for that moment went out the window. Like, forget basketball. I'm standing here with a place where history was changed and lives were changed, and like everything that we knew changed forever. And it was just a moment to just think about nothing but not myself but other people who were there that didn't walk away from there. Because I was like, I'm walking away from here going back to a hotel getting to bed. It's people who didn't walk away from here. And then Porter put in perspective, he was like, just so you know that they're still they pulled bodies out last week before we got here. They had pulled 5 bodies from the rubble that they dug up, and I kind of stopped and was like, man, did he just say that for real? And we all everybody on the bus was like, that's deep. That's 2006. Again, that means there's been somebody under there since 2001 that families are just now knowing this person was there still. And it was, as I say, it was an eye-opening moment to reality. Before, you go to play a game against a team, a good basketball team in St. John's. So I think that was the highlight of the trip for me.
For sure.
Oh, we beat them like they stole something. we beat them, but I say we did get to meet. I did get to meet Mason, Antonio Mason. He was there because his son played there. Mason Jr. played there.
Okay.
And you talk about jumping out the gym. Oh my goodness! It was one play. It was a fast break. It was me and Osiris. And we running, and I was like, stop ball, stop ball. He was like, I got him. And the ball go up, and I said, stop running, stop running, And he stopped, and I stopped, and we just look up. He caught the ball, and he cocked it back, and I was like, oh no, this ain't gonna end well. And we both, we from Chicago, so we knew when the ball go up, don't jump, don't run, don't get in the poster. And he just took it back and hammered it. We was like, we looked at each other like, yeah, we ain't getting in that poster. we looked at the bench. We like, man, they better not say they better not say nothing to us. We ain't going on Sports Center tonight, cause that show makes Sports Center. I was like, nah, you ain't gonna get me in trouble. I'd rather get subbed out for not jumping than get on Sports Center for jumping. Sub me out, but don't let me get on TV. But that was the game itself. We took we won. We beat them. I think we easily won. We won by like 10 or 12. Like, the first game was a better game than the second game. The first time we played them was better than the second time we played them.
All right, Ronnie. We want to now great talk about New York. Wow, beating St. John's. Holy crap. Team events is the next thing on your list.
Yeah, the team events were like the best because, even though I said, we all know all teams don't get along. We didn't. But when we were together, best thing ever happened. We did car washes, we did food drives, we did community service, and it never failed for the fun guy to show up. Trey, the fun boy Gidry, do something funny. Locker room stuff where he would torture Munn whenever he walked in. Every time Munn walked into the locker room, he tortured Munn. I mean, he would do something to John Munn to make it just like hilarious. And I would cry laughing because it'd be like, we would tell Munn, I'll whoop you. And all he would say, anybody here won't fight me? You better pack a lunch. It's gonna be a long day. Munn get that Georgia Bulldog. You better pack a lunch. It's gonna be a long day. I go in the locker room. What did Trey? Oh, so one day I'm in the training room, and we all getting ready to leave right after the game, and I said something to Trey. And he telling me something, and I said something to him. I said something crazy. And Mom was like, I'll give you an enema. And I said, what? I said, man, nobody's going to give me nothing. So Trey grabs me. Him, Kevin Trock, and Greg, they grabbed me. And he was like, get him, Mom, get him. And John Munn goes in his office, and he comes out with a needle about this big. If I didn't flip out and almost split my pants trying to get off that table and run, and they holding me laughing, oh my God, I've never been so scared. I've been scared before, but that needle, about this wide, about this long, he was like, yeah, here. I was like, oh no, gotta go, run. But we had fun. Like whenever we would get together and we would do the team outings and stuff. Like when we did paintballing, against the coaches.
Who won?
The coach. Oh, so this is how they did the teams. Unfair advantage. It was the freshmen and the newcomers, any freshmen, sophomores, and newcomers versus the seniors and the coaches. So it's me, Greg Dilligard, and Roberto Flores, with Coach Robinson, Baroni, Porter, Jans, and and our managers, Flash Gordon, and all them. And I'm like, why I gotta be on the team with y'all? I want to shoot y'all. I'm like, I want to shoot one of y'all. I want to shoot y'all. Like y'all made me run. I want to shoot one of y'all. So we playing the game, and I told them, I was like, hey man, I'm finna be a traitor. So I get shot and I'm out. So we playing the paintball. I'm like, I'm out. I said, all right. I go around the course, and I'm sitting on the thing, and I just start shooting. I'm hitting everybody, coaches, players. I'm gonna get my licks. I mean, I must have shot everybody that day. It was I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get these licks. But Porter wasn't playing. Porter towards Achilles, so he on crutches, so he's like, nah. So he was like, Ronnie, you're shooting everybody. I'm like, hey, it's malfunctioning. My gun I'm like, my gun malfunctioning. And I'm still pulling the trigger, and it's just like, I'm like, man, hey. I shot everybody that day. I was like, I'm gonna get my licks off. But Coach Baroni, they was hurt. He was like, oh, I didn't know new paintballs hurt that bad. I was like, I ain't never doing this again. Man, I was so sore after that. I said, I ain't never doing this again. Y'all crazy. Can't do this. This ain't for me. I'm too old for this. I'm only 21. I'm like, I'm too old for this. This hurt. I'm an old man. This hurt. But we had a lot of fun like that, though. A lot of the team building, the team bonding stuff was fun, though. It was always fun. It was always good, like the outside of our normal element, just to see people relaxed and just be themselves without what play is this, what we doing next, what we running offense, defense. No, just talk about stuff, doing bags, and I learned how to play bags. Actually, they taught me how to play bags. I never even knew what that was until I was at a team. But I'm like, what is this? They're like, you don't know how to play bags? I say, I know how to pitch quarters. Does that count? It's like, I grew up, we could pitch quarters. I could do that. We go on the sidewalk. Is it the same thing? It was like, no. Vince Green was like, no, big fella, this ain't you doing too much. That slow down before we get in trouble. I'm like, I'm sorry. I said, okay, I'm talking too much. I'm sorry. So that's what team bonding for me was like. It was like, no, this just toss and hit. I was like, okay. So I learned some new things.
Cool. Okay, last one. You wanted to talk about battles that you had on the court.
Oh, man, where do I start? My all-time battle buddy, Greg DeLagarde. Never met a nicer person in my life in basketball. A real friend, a real brother, a real true heart competitor. Brought it every day we stepped on the floor. Win or lose, stayed positive. Never, he was never one of those malicious people, like, just a good person to be around. He was down and out. You could talk to him without anything, like, feeling regret or anything, and we just always got, after it. And it was always fun when you got to play him, because if you got the best of him, he'll be like, man, you wore me out today. Like, man, bro, when you get that move from? What you like? Wait a minute. And he would tell you. And then you had other people who like rubbed it in, like Slack. If Slack got you, ooh, you wasn't gonna hit the end of that. Keep playing on me, boy. I'ma dunk on you again. That's why I dunked on you today. What? Yeah, all right. Keep talking. All right, man, cool out, Slack. No, I'm gonna dunk on you again. Boy, he made sure you. If he got you, he wasn't letting you forget it. If he got you, you knew it. Marcus Arnold. Y'all remember Marcus Arnold?
Oh God, yes.
Quiet assassin. Quiet. Yeah, he'll have a practice. Marcus go 50 in practice, and won't say a word. You be in the locker room, like everybody be like, man, Marcus, you was killing today. Yeah. Even after a real good game, Marcus, you had a good game today. That was all right. That was cool. Marcus, you had 27 and 12. I did? Okay. What? My first practice with them, I'm thinking I'm doing something. Got a block and everything. Oh, yeah, I'm on. Man, up fake, drop step, boom, and looked at me. I said, oops, my bad. I guess I ain't as good as I thought.
That guy almost beat U of I by himself.
That was the game. You said, Marcus, you had a great game, and he just looked at us like, yeah, I guess. All right.
Like, a great game.
What? Like, I mean, a great game. And
yeah, great game.
Now, you know who else is like Lorenzo, but the opposite of that, Lorenzo Gordon? Oh. He would tell you, I killed y'all. Boy, you don't want to see me. I killed y'all. Always a good guy. Laughing, funny, play all day. We had like the bigs. I think I had more. The bigs, we always had fun. The guards, they used to, Dana and all that. Dana was one. Dana was another one who did a lot of talking.
Oh,
Dana,
really?
what? Dana? Oh, Dana was the mouthpiece. Dana be like, man, I'm kidding you. Boy, Dana tell you, well, I was 6 for 6 on the three. Well, you got to guard me. I got the heat stroke. Oh, Dana push your buttons. Dana will push your buttons, but he did it, and his competitive spirit was unmatched though. Like Dana pushed your buttons to the point that he made sure you knew he was guarding you. Like he'd get under your skin, you ain't nothing, you weak. But he pushed it in the pot, like he didn't push it to the point. Like he almost made you want to fight him some days. The way he got up under his skin.
Oh, really?
Like his push was it was a different like his push was different. He would get up in you. He'd get up in you and make you feel it. You would feel it. You knew Dana was guarding you some days. Like because he's think about it, he was 6'3", his arms almost 7'1" wingspan. Like he's long, athletic. He made you work for it. I remember I tried to get a rebound one day, and he jumped over me. Told me, "Give me this, boy. He's like, give me this. You too small." I'm looking like, all right. And I set a screen on. He was like, "Dang, man, come on, Joe. We got a game tomorrow. Don't kill me." Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure you knew who you was talking to. Don't yell at me. Make sure you remember I'm here. I'm here. We live. We real. But that was the part of practice. Like, I think that part of the competitive practice when we would have them, the mixed teams, when they put running on the line, like, oh, loser got to run. Oh, it's all bets is off. Ain't no friends. Ain't no brother. It's me versus you. We finna go for this.
Hey, Ronnie, can I ask you a question? Since you're talking about competitive people, when your coach, Porter Moser, right?
Yeah.
When he was walking on sidelines, right? He starts off all dressed nice and stuff like that. He got the tie on. He got the jacket on, and then when that jacket comes off, right? He's breaking it down, right? He's getting all competitive. What was he like on the sidelines?
You want me to tell you the team perspective or the real perspective?
Whatever you think's appropriate.
It's been 15 years, dude. You can tell us whatever you want to say.
So one day we were breaking down film, and I remember Nadu Anuku, rest his soul.
Mm-hmm.
My boy Nadu, number 3. We were watching film, and Nadu say, "Hey, rewind there. Look at him. Look at Porter. Watch this. He say, "Watch Porter take off his jacket. Watch the turnover. He going like he got punch drunk." And Nadu slow motioned it, and he said, "Watch Porter do this." And I mean, we found about 5 clips in the game where he found Porter like falling on the bench, throwing his hands up, and it was we'd just be sitting there like, Coach really be doing some antics, fam. In the middle of the game, we'd be like, "Yo, he really doing that?"
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, "Is he for real?" Like we never thought. You know how we heard it, but then when you actually saw it on film for like up close, and then we were, we rewound it like 5 times in a row, and just watched it over and over. But no, I think when he was really competitive, like that was like the antics at the refs. Like that was him being at the refs.
Yes.
But when he was at us, it was in the huddle. When he would get right up close and be like, "Okay," that last stop in the Creighton game when he says, "Okay, this is it," and he put his hand on the board like, "We're gonna stop now. This is when you're gonna get it. This is the game." It's like when the game was on the line and he said, "This is now." Like it was a different. Separate entities. Like the entity that was for the fans and all the refs. Hey, look at me. But like in that huddle, when it was like really on the line or really like we're on a run or we need to get a stop, it was him putting his hands up like, "Hey, get the stop. You gonna get it. You gonna do it. Or what you gonna do? You either gonna stop him or you gonna let him score." So that the sideline stuff was the fun. That was funny to us. We used to always make fun of that one. We always made fun of that one. We was like, look at them punch. He like, there you go with the punch drunk. There you go, drunk punching, flopping. We were like, look at it. I think somebody said he doing a Manu Ginobili. They said he was the Manu Ginobili of coaches one day. This was a fan that came to me. He was like, yo, they was like, why the Porter act like he Manu Ginobili on the sideline? I said, hey man, I don't know. You gotta ask him. Like, this is after a game when they was like, well, yeah, like he's Manu. I said, you gotta ask him, man. I can't tell you that.
Right.
I was like, I can't tell you that one. That's something you gotta ask him one day you see him.
All right. Well, Ronnie, thank you very much. This has been awesome. This is Bird Fans Forever, our podcast. So this is episode 7, and Jon, take us out.